Hello, it's Nikki and welcome to a brand new episode. I am so pleased that you are here with me today. Thank you so much for all your love and support on moving house. We are in. That took up a lot of last week, organising and settling and getting sorted. And I really loved having that time of settling into our new space. But this week I am back and I wanted to share some things that have been on my mind recently about how we can all move forward in terms of our businesses and our personal brands, and some takeaways, I guess, that I've had from the last 6 months of making this really big transition in my personal life. And the first thing I want to say is this moment, this moving house, has taken 6 months. So we first saw our new place at the end of September, and we finally moved in March. And this is a really interesting standpoint in terms of what our capabilities are. And I think what we can feel is that we have to be doing all of the things all of the time. And it always fascinates me when I hear about Olympians and their training process. Not that I'm comparing myself to an Olympian, that is for sure. But people who are working on their training program for marathon running, for example, versus somebody who does a heptathlon. I always am interested in what that process is. It's like, how are you perfecting and being great at all 7 Olympic sports? How are you negotiating? How are you spreading out your time? That for me is really fascinating. Because I tell you what, with this process for the last 6 months, I've really had to make sure that where I can, everything else had to be calm. Everything else had to almost go on the back burner. And of course, that's not children or, kind of earning money or anything like that. But I knew my capacity very early that I wouldn't have time or capacity to do all maybe the fun things. So actually, when I turned 40 in November, I had a very low-key experience. It was a lovely experience, but maybe one day or years ago, I might have thought, I'll have a big 40th party. And actually, that didn't happen at all. I had a lunch out with Matty. I saw some family for various kind of lunches and, nice kind of tea and cake moments at our house. But I didn't have capacity to be going here, there and everywhere. Like, I didn't organise a big thing with my friends. And that will come in time. But everything else had to be calm. And I think this is really important to notice when you're trying to do something big in business. And if you're looking at working on one particular project and you want growth from that, it's really going to require your attention and your focus. And people will often say success doesn't happen by accident. And I'm really a big believer in that. You need to put your focus into something. And it's okay to say no or to park things or to say not right now, and then continue with what it is that you're doing. Number 2, the movers. So on the day of moving, we had 5 men. It took them 4 hours and 2 loads. And they were incredible. I've written the most amazing Google review for them because they were just so great. I watched one of the fellas picking up a bookcase under his arm. Like, he just picked it up and walked down the stairs like it was nothing. And it took me a moment to really recognize this chap's skills and talents. Like, he knew, and I know this is a very basic thing to some people, but I was like, wow, I would probably, I don't know if I would be able to lift it myself anyway, but he knew the exact point, where to lift it, what to do. And this is a really interesting standpoint and a question to ask yourself of, are you getting the support that you need? Because I guess, for goodness sake, I actually don't know at this stage of our lives. It would have been significantly different. I guess Matt and I could have moved it all, but we certainly wouldn't have been able to do it in 4 hours. We don't own a big van, so one of us would have had to have driven that and all of that comes with it. Honestly, this was some of the best money I've ever spent in my life getting help and support with that. And I think this is really important in terms of our business growth, because I know so many of us, especially as women, we were taught to be self-sufficient, to get things done, to be efficient, to be organized, to just have a can-do attitude. And actually, getting support can really shorten that process, can be one of the best things that you do. And I've really learned through this process of understanding where my skill set really lies and where it doesn't. And that is becoming more and more obvious as I move through. Number 3, the ta-da moment rarely happens. And this has been not disappointing, maybe frustrating at times. I know I've watched a lot of makeover shows in my life where people go behind the curtain and then they come out half an hour later and they're completely transformed. Or do you remember that 60-minute makeover program that within an hour, somebody's able to do all of the things and suddenly they've got this brand new house and you're like, but how did that paint dry? How did that all happen? And this has been a really sort of a constant throughout this process, that the ta-da moment was actually not one moment. It was many moments, and we had to celebrate them all of the small bits. And that's what we did. We celebrated each and every stage, and we checked in at every stage. And so when we finally got the keys, I almost prepared myself that this wasn't going to be the finish, like, oh my goodness, everything's amazing. Because actually, it needed a good clean. Actually, there were things that we needed to do, etc. And so celebrating every stage, especially in your business, and especially in your personal brand, is so integral because it really keeps the momentum going. If you celebrate sending that really tricky email, or you celebrate, even if you don't get a response, you pitching and putting yourself out there, it's going to be incredible. Like, I sent the email, I put my name in the hat, essentially. I did what I could to be in it to win it. That is so important. And I know that sometimes people put the big pedestals of like, you get to this final point and then everything is sorted. Very rarely are things sorted. And certainly as we've gone, we've been here just over a week now, there is still so much to do. We have not had that ta-da moment of everything falling into place just yet. And so instead, we're celebrating all of the moments. And I encourage you to do the same. Number 4, money is not the only currency. And this is really important when when we're looking at your pricing, for example. I know sometimes people will say, well, I want to be cost effective, or maybe I should be the cheapest, or maybe I should give the most or offer the most. And actually people want the result. So when we were looking at moving companies, for example, I really loved, and I can't remember where they came in terms of the pricing, but I really loved this company knew the local area. So our road, for example, it's quite a long road and it has another road running between it. And so knowing which end of the road that we lived and therefore how that affected the parking was absolutely golden information. And so when you're looking at your pricing, when you're looking at your offering, make sure that you're not just focusing on the money or what you can offer for the littlest amount of money. We're looking at value here. We're looking at customer service. We're looking at a result. We're looking at being time efficient. So many things within that. So make sure that you're not just focusing on being the cheapest. Number 5, saying thank you and appreciating the journey. I know that patience is a real thing for me, and it's one that I have to work on all of the time, because I am that person sometimes who wanted it done yesterday, who wants to be there right now. And when I have to hold the faith, I have to hold the stare, sometimes that's difficult for me because I'm just like so keen and I want to get there and do it and be it and etc. However, when we left our old house, we'd been there for 11 years. We all went round as a four and we said thank you. We said thank you to the house. We said thank you to all the rooms. And it was a really lovely experience. And actually it didn't feel sad leaving because we were excited and ready in a new chapter. And I know also that this next chapter would not have been opened had it not been for the last one. So wherever you are in your business or your life, make sure that you are fully acknowledging where you are. And this has been a real reframe for me over the last few years when things have been tough or I've met a challenge or something hasn't gone my way. Basically, the roller coaster of running your own business. I've really had that moment of saying, right, okay, take a deep breath, really be in this moment. And there'll be a story, there'll be a lesson, there'll be something happening within this. So really take that time and be considered and be in the moment too. I'm going to say thank you so much for listening once again. And also to say I am so excited to be operating a full working schedule once again. I now feel I can take people on. So if you are interested in booking a pick and mix session, please do get in touch. I would love to hear from you. These sessions are for you if you want to bring an idea or 3 ideas or whatever it is. We mind map, we consider lots of different things, lots of different choices, how you price, how you package, how you promote it, you present it, all the stuff. All the information is over on my website, nikkiraby.com/sessions. If you're not subscribed to the podcast, please do so. And also check out the freebie section on my website, nikkiraby.com/freebies. Thank you so much for listening. As always, I will be back tomorrow and I'm sending lots of love.